Season 3, No More Nice series. This episode is entitled, The Doors We're About to Enter Require Kind Discernment and Not Niceness. Have you ever noticed how sometimes life starts feeling a little, maybe a lot, emotionally crowded? Like everybody has access to us, our time, our energy, our patience, our presence. And even though we're trying to be nice instead of being kind, somehow we still end up emotionally exhausted. Because maybe growing and healing isn't always about becoming more available. Maybe sometimes growth and healing looks like becoming more discerning about who, what, and where has access to us in this season. Because maybe the doors we're about to enter require something different from us now. It's not hardness, it's not isolation, but kind discernment. Hey y'all, I'm Madison Samone Chase, also known as Miss Chase. I was raised by an incredible single mom who is my biggest fan, my best friend, my BFF for real. I am also a celebrity certified personal trainer, fitness and wellness expert, and sports and entertainment media host. I was born in Fort Worth, Texas, raised in Dallas, built in Los Angeles, California. I trained at Juilliard in New York City with School of American Ballet, becoming the world's only 3-time ESPN Miss Fitness champion, appearing in more than 450 fitness DVDs. And the first of the 450 was led by celebrity trainer and the GOAT, Gunnar Peterson, who's known for training the Kardashian family. As a celebrity personal trainer myself, some of my most notable clients include Robert Pattinson of Twilight and Batman, Chris Tucker of Rush Hour, Amber Riley of Glee. And as a sports and entertainment media host, some of my favorite red carpet moments include chatting with Richard Branson, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Emma Stone, Viola Davis, Tyler Perry, and Tiana Taylor, Justin Baldoni, Issa Rae, and Keke Palmer, to name a few. I share my accomplishments not to toot my own horn, but to honor the millions of sacrifices my mom planted in me so that I could blossom and flourish into the woman I am still becoming. So welcome to Cut to the Chase at 8, now C2TC8, H.E.R Circle, which stands for High Performing, Empowered Women and some Men Ready to Thrive Circle. So what is high performing? High performing are mothers, single mothers, caretakers, entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, women who are working a 9-to-5 job, juggling 2 to 3 jobs, rebuilding quietly, or simply trying to hold yourself together while growing through life in real time. And this space, this circle is for you. So if you're listening and are watching, pull up a digital chair or pull up a real chair and grab yourself a cup of hot or cold herbal tea, and welcome to my cozy home of Cut to the Chase at 8, a 15-minute micro-learning moment for macro living. And I am so overjoyed that you are here, because this is where we explore and lean into life with our lived experiences, yours and mine, where we invite lots of grace in this space because we're living in some really interesting times. We chat all about spirit, mind, and body health. That is ultimately our wealth, in microdoses for macro living. So make sure you join me twice daily for just 15 minutes, that's it, at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, because this is your 15-minute chance for your daily pause for a cause, clarity, wellness, grace, and intentional decision making. And please give yourself grace, because how we start our day and how we end it matters. Each episode, my offer to you is 3 keys and 1 question to sit with and hopefully encourage you to give yourself grace in this space with something practical, something grounded, and something you could carry with you. So wherever you're listening from, I want you to turn it up and tune in. And if anything you hear today pricks your heart or lights a spark, I'd love for you to subscribe and share this podcast with someone you care about. And please leave a 5-star rating or a comment, or send me a text message so that this becomes a dialogue instead of a monologue. Now let's take a breath together. We're going to inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's lean into today's episode of Cut to the Chase at 8. Let's cut the noise. Let's get clear. Let's get ready, set to grow and go and be great. So again, the title for today's episode: the doors we're about to enter require kind discernment and not niceness. Some of us have become emotionally exhausted, and it's not because we lack purpose, but because we've given too many people unrestricted access to us. Access to our energy, access to our peace, access to our wisdom, access to our leadership, access to our softness, access to our resources and the people that we know, access to the things that we know and learned over a lifetime, and access to doing their emotional labor. And somewhere along the way, we started believing constant accessibility was proof of our niceness. So we kept the door open for them, for people who were temporary, for people who were draining, for people who were emotionally unsafe, toxic, and narcissistic, for people who were assignments that were never actually called to carry. Because niceness taught many of us, keep helping, keep accommodating, keep rescuing, keep saving, keep explaining, keep proving, keep giving. Your time, your resources, everything. Even when peace was quietly trying to reveal, this is no longer aligned. Because some of us were conditioned toward over-accessibility to everybody we were not ever called to, over-explaining to people who were detours and not part of our destiny, over-functioning for short-term friendly people instead of long-term divinely timed partners, being so nice that we attempt to emotionally rescue every stray cat, people-pleasing, seasonal acquaintances, survival niceness and politeness toward optional, temporary people who were never part of the master's purpose plan for us. All while neglecting the stewardship of our own peace, our own calling, our own leadership, and emotional capacity. And maybe that's why discernment feels uncomfortable. Because discernment starts asking real, assertive questions like, who actually has access to me? Who is actually aligned with me? And in that alignment, is there reciprocity? And what doors were meant to be closed that I keep trying to force open? And what relationships have I kept alive out of guilt instead of peace? Because the doors we're about to enter will require kind discernment and not niceness. I think one of the hardest emotional truths that many of us eventually confront is realizing every open door does not deserve unrestricted access to them. Because many of us were conditioned to believe being constantly available made them valuable. So they became emotionally accessible, emotionally responsible, emotionally overextended, and emotionally exhausted. Because we were always helping, we were always understanding, we were always rescuing, we were always accommodating, even when our nervous system was overwhelmed. Even when our peace was quietly trying to reveal this relationship, this person, this friendship, this romantic relationship, this habit, this environment, this version of ourselves is no longer aligned with this person, this place, or this thing. Because niceness often teaches us to prioritize being liked over being aligned and purpose-driven. And honestly, some of us become so focused on preserving temporary connections that they may temporarily delay our destination and our destiny partners. Some became so committed to emotional rescuing that they abandoned their stewardship. And sometimes we abandon our stewardship because we were so committed to rescuing someone emotionally. And some of us become so accessible to everybody else that we become slowly disconnected from ourselves. And that's why the PPT audit matters so much. Our people, our places, and things. And really auditing those three things. Because our nervous system responds to who repeatedly has access to us. What environments consistently require us to shrink? And what habits reinforce emotional depletion? Because some people in our lives are seasonal. Some people in our lives are assignments. Some people in our lives are detours. And some people in our lives are cautionary tales and lessons. And some people in our lives are divinely assigned partners. And what can help us distinguish between what is what or who is discernment helps us recognize the difference. Because not every connection is a calling. Which brings me to our three keys. Key number 1, kindness without discernment often leads to emotional exhaustion. Because many of us were conditioned toward over-accessibility, over-giving, emotional rescuing, people-pleasing, over-functioning, and survival niceness. Thinking that made us appear loving and kind. And those two things are so completely different. But eventually our bodies carried the emotional debt through burnout, resentment, anxiety, emotional numbness. Our nervous system is exhausted because being emotionally available to everyone often leaves us emotionally unavailable to ourselves. Which brings me to key number 2. The door we're about to enter requires boundaries, not unlimited access. And not everybody deserves our leadership, our emotional labor, our softness, our peace, our time, our access, our resources, whether that is in people or money, or connections or people that we know. And emotionally mature women like us eventually realize stewardship matters. Stewardship is the valuable asset that we have. And that's why SAC matters, spontaneous, assertive communication. And learning how to communicate clearly, honestly, and respectfully without over-explaining our boundaries to people committed to misunderstanding them. They're committed to misunderstanding them because it benefits them. Because kind discernment understands access should be aligned and not automatic. Which brings me to key number 3. Kind discernment protects peace without abandoning compassion. And this episode is not about being cold. It's just about becoming wise. Because some of us think discernment means distance, hardness, or emotional walls. But discernment can still be kind, compassionate, grace-filled, and emotionally mature and honest. And we can deeply be kind and still deeply be concerned and discerning. And we could love people without assigning them permanent access to our peace. Because some of us are entering a season where God is teaching us that protecting our peace, our leadership, and emotional capacity is not selfish. It's stewardship. So before you go, I just want to say thank you from the bottom and top of my heart. It truly has been an honor and a pleasure sharing this time with you. And thank you for continuing to give yourself grace in this space with me today. I am so genuinely thankful that you chose to step into this cozy digital home with me. So before you head out, let's quickly revisit our 3 keys and 1 reflection question from today's episode. Key number 1, kindness without discernment often leads to emotional exhaustion. Key number 2, the doors we're about to enter require boundaries, not unlimited access. Key number 3, kind discernment protects peace without abandoning compassion. And our 1 question to sit with: where in my life have I mistaken unlimited access for kindness and loyalty or love? So if today's episode offered you clarity, insight, or even a pause for a cause you didn't know you needed, if there's anything that I shared that pricked your heart or lit a spark, I'd love for you to subscribe, share this with someone you care about, or leave a 5-star rating, or send me a text so that this becomes a dialogue and not just a monologue, because it truly helps this space to grow and reach others who may need it. And before we close, I just want to extend a gentle invitation. If you've been listening consistently, reflecting, or feeling called to move beyond just listening into a community of connected and intentional growth, a group of people, I'd love for you to consider becoming a C2TC8 H.E.R Circle founding member. And it's a foundational community that will eventually shape what this space becomes. And I'd love for you to be a part of that beginning. And remember, 30 new episodes launch on the 15th of every month for 15 days, with twice daily episodes at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So thank you for joining me here twice a day for our daily 15-minute microdose for macro living. Now let's close with 1 breath together. We're going to inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. and again at 8 p.m. Central. I'm Madison Samone Chase, and this is C2C28 H.E.R Circle. We are ready, set to go and grow. Let's get clear and let's be great. Blessings to you and yours until tomorrow.